Now I want to talk today about a consolidation of orders. What we're seeing in the state, of course, is a rising variant. Very concerned, as I've mentioned, about what is going on in Michigan. We're seeing this rise, particularly in the northern part of the state of Ohio, so we're very concerned about that. At the same time, we are vaccinating people at a very, very high rate in Ohio. So those are two kind of conflicting things that are going on. And it truly is a race. And so at this period of time, it really is a crucial period of time, and we've got to, continue to do the basics. So the reason we're issuing a new health order now is to make it simpler. We know a lot more today than we knew when this started. For example, the power of these masks is so much greater. We know it's so much more greater than we knew even just a few months ago. We've had the long experience of our school year where kids have been in classroom less than 6 feet apart. Somebody comes down with the virus and it does not spread in that classroom. So, back to the essential basics is what these orders are emphasizing. Above all, common sense. Wear a mask, social distancing. Being outside is always just so much better than being inside. Good hand washing and limiting gatherings of large number of people who are directly with you. So I'm going to now go to Director McCloud. Director, thank you for joining with us, and we'll go from you, and you can talk a little bit about these new orders which are being issued, really clarification. This will cover things such as proms, festivals, graduations. And again, I would just emphasize that it's back to basics, common sense. And these are the things that we need to do as we move forward. And so it's really, we can do about anything we want to do. It's just how we do it. And that really is what we're emphasizing today with these new, more simplified orders. Director?
Thank you, Governor. As always, yes, to your point, the goal here today is to, as you stated, get back to basics, to make sure that we can, in fact, have a smooth path to the return to our lives, and getting folks to focus on those basic principles is going to be the most important thing. Consolidating these orders, encompassing them all into one order, we hope helps focus those important items and get away from any confusion that people may have had about which order applies and where it applies, and really simplifying things and getting everyone to have some responsibility, from organizers of events to proprietors of operations, or to just the public. So throughout this pandemic, as we learn more about COVID and its effects, the Department of Health issued orders designed to protect our citizens. As more information became available, we layered on additional protective measures, and at each turn, we followed the science. As you said, Governor, our understanding of this virus and how it spreads is much more advanced than when we first learned about it in early 2020. We now know there are a handful of key measures that will slow or prevent the spread of the virus. This new simplified order encompasses our previous orders. It streamlines those orders and underscores the most important tenets of infection prevention that stop the spread of the virus: wearing masks, social distancing, limiting large gatherings, and practicing good hand washing and hygiene. And wherever possible, having your event outside. So what does the new order do? The new order continues to encapsulate previous orders and places the emphasis on wearing masks at all times in any indoor location that's not a residence. When you're outside and unable to maintain a distance of 6 feet or more, got to have your mask. And when you're waiting for riding, driving, or operating public transit, taxis, or ride sharing, also need a mask. There are exceptions, and as there always have been, and those are continued to be detailed in the order. Avoid congregating in large groups. So we have the mass gathering limitations, and that's going to be encompassed in this order in a slightly different fashion. we still want Ohioans to take precautions when gathering and maintaining proper social distancing. Keep in mind that smaller groupings of individuals within a mass gathering help limit the spread. The group you're a part of at an event should not be larger than 10 people. How does that work? What does that mean? It means if you go to a festival, if you go to a parade, try to keep your group 10 or smaller, not really congregating with other groups of other sizes, but trying to keep kind of your group size 10 or smaller. When possible, event organizers and managers should provide one-way traffic in buildings or other areas to encourage social distancing. You want to maintain 6 feet of distance from other individuals as much as possible. Individuals, again, back to avoiding congregating in large groups. So how does this work with the 10-person limit? If you're an event where you're sitting or walking, your group of 10 or less should be separated by 6 feet from the next group of 10 or less. If you're at a festival, if you're at a parade, if you're sitting at an event, there should be 10 or less, and there's kind of, just picture kind of a halo around you or that group that you're with, and that halo provides a buffer from the next group of 10 or less. Practicing good hand washing and routine disinfection. This hasn't changed, still a staple of reducing the spread of the virus. There'll still be a limitation on the maximum number of spectators in attendance at indoor facilities, and that's with the 25% of the fixed seating of the capacity. At an indoor facility with fixed seating to 25% of the capacity of the facility. Same thing, groups of 10 at the most, 6 feet of distance maintained between the seated groups. Still asking that people stay seated when actively eating or drinking at a restaurant, bar, or banquet facility. Information about exhibitions, competitions, auctions, and signage will also be included in the new order, and that'll help simplify the existing guidance. As you said, Governor, we hope by encompassing our separate orders into this one order, we will make them easier to understand for organizers and for those who are attending events. I'll turn it back to you, Governor, and then to Dr. Vanderhoff. Thank you.
All right. Dr. Vanderhoff, you want to give us some of the where we are today and a little bit of the background in regard to these orders?
Yes, thank you very much, Governor. Well, we understand very well that this pandemic has been a marathon for the people of Ohio, and that as we enter into the final stretch of the marathon, the best safety measures are the ones that people can understand, remember, and apply faithfully in everyday life. Today's orders simplify and underline the vital steps we Ohioans need to take to keep ourselves, our family and friends, our coworkers, and our communities safe in this final stretch of the pandemic. Now, make no mistake, we are still very much in the thick of things with COVID-19. Our cases are rising again. Our testing positivity rate is back up above 4%. Our variant numbers continue to grow, and evidence continues to mount that B.1.1.7 and other variants are not only much more contagious, but also more deadly. But this spring surge of variants is happening here in Ohio in the context of nearly 32%, or 3.7 million Ohioans, having received a vaccine. And more people, thankfully, are rolling up their sleeves each and every day to get vaccinated. And I might add, in a state with a consistently strong track record of compliance with masking in public. The message with these revised orders, therefore, is clear. Simple steps can save lives and put this pandemic behind us. Again, first, if you're older than 16, just as the governor was highlighting earlier, get vaccinated. Remember, vaccines are safe, much safer than getting COVID-19, whether you're 16 or 80, and they're very effective against these variants. As the director noted, wear a mask in public, avoid large groups, keep your distance, and outside is better than inside. The new orders issued today really provide practical and responsible steps to allow each and every one of us to live and act safely even as more and more of us get the vaccines that will ultimately put the COVID-19 pandemic in our rear view mirror. Thank you, Governor.
Well, Doctor, thank you very much. Just maybe a couple things to follow up on. As Dr. Vanderhoff said, Ohioans are doing exceedingly well. You know, we look at these numbers every day. We're still running 93, 94% of people in our retail establishments who are wearing a mask. That is statewide. So again, Ohioans doing exceedingly well. With the order, when everyone will see the orders, it's basic. It's really back to basics. We want to make this as simple as we can, with the real emphasis on mask wearing and in distance and staying away from a large crowd. You know, those are the things that are really important. Let me add one, it's common sense. And again, basic things, and then as you apply it, just use common sense as you do that. Let me go back to the director for a moment. Director, one of the things I might add in regard to, you talked about while eating, stay seated. If you're at the bar or you're at a restaurant, and of course that also will continue to be true if you're at an event, a sporting event or anything like that. Now I know, Director, we're going to get questions about, you know, when these orders actually be able to look at these orders. So we have orders in regard to proms, we have orders in regard to graduation. I know there's been a lot of interest in that. So can you tell everyone what the timing is on those?
Thank you, Governor. The order that we just discussed, pardon me, hopefully it should be available and signed by today. You will also see which orders that wraps into it. And then some of the additional guidance that we talked about to help with this, to help with proms, help with graduations, we're looking to have that guidance out no later than tomorrow.
So that specific guidance will be coming. I don't think there'll be any surprises really in there at all. So thank you very much, Director.